Yo, recording this different angle, mostly because it's late night and positioning myself in the place where I don't want to make too much noise for everyone else around. Don't want to wake them up. It ain't midnight, but anyway, I give a fuck. I want to make a quick blurb about labels and this habit, cyclical habit, that's being passed down of simply kind of slapping on a label and just calling it a day. When I'm talking about labels, more so talking about medical labels, identifying people as autistic, attention disorder, and all that kind of stuff. Even schizophrenia, we've spoken about a tad bit more. And what I'm starting to notice a lot more, and it seems to be much more of an obvious now, just paying attention to it, is like, okay, we're just going to slap a label on an unconscious habit without necessarily getting to a point of figuring out, well, is this person conscious or unconscious? If they're unconscious of their habit, why simply slap a label and just give them a title? Because at the same time, you could always figure out a way to get this person to be much more conscious of their habit, to then you, instead of having it as a label, which is a negative label, a disadvantage, you get them to use it in a conscious label. There's been an interesting talk about what's his name, Hopkins Hannibal, and certain people putting the label, oh, he was diagnosed autistic, and now he notices that he can do that. He was doing method acting to a higher level than even he perceived, and you kind of look at that and you kind of go, okay, so he's really good unconsciously, but now that he's conscious of it, he's gonna be fucking nuts at it, you know? And of course, there's more to it. There's an aspect of, okay, how many other habits did he have around that? Because a lot of it is unconscious habit. Once made conscious, okay, well, your label means nothing. And it's kind of odd, and not at the same time. It's kind of like this habit, medical doctors and everything, like attention disorder. Okay, you're not necessarily having conscious focus on where you go, or you may have a lot of energy and you're not channeling your energy. Okay, so let's teach you how to channel. Well, first get you conscious of that habit, of you being unconscious of that habit. Hell, just take a camera and set up a film, not in a dictating, finger pointing, label putting method. That doesn't work, because then you're attacking the person's construction of an identity, which is still the mind, but still you got to start somewhere. But you're attacking that, which then makes the person like even less likely to feel good about attempting to continue, or to feel good about themselves. That seems to be the the big issue when it comes to using labels. It feels like an aspect of, okay, you're slapping it onto the person's identity list, which is again a thing of the mind, something that if you bring this and slap a label on a specific person, unaware or unconsciously, their mind will link themselves to that label that you've placed it, unless the person just goes, fuck you, doctor. Shouldn't be saying that, but of course, just kind of throwing the diagnosis out the window. It's quite negative because, again, understanding how granular definitions are, and everyone's little, no, not little, sorry, I'm taking that back. Looking at how granular our definitions are based on our each and every different experiences and where we come from. And I was gonna say little opinions, because in a sense, someone's definition can be influenced by a series of opinions spotted online or an interaction with a person without looking deeper into it. That's why I kind of went little opinions, but there needs to be deeper context. Even at times I slip up, and it's part of this whole aspect of getting a bit more clearer and clarifying, and then diving into those various nuance of terminologies, and not simply just slapping labels. And that's why it's kind of like destructive, because upon just slapping that label on the person, the mind would unconsciously link to it. And whenever any kind of granular little definitions of that would pop up linked to the word, well, then you indirectly kind of go, am I like that? Because I've been labeled like this. So am I really what this person said? And this person might not necessarily know the nuances that are part of your unconscious habit that is linked to that label, because everyone's, you know, mannerisms, everyone's inner world is created from their past experience and everything that they kind of ingested, even the media that you listen to. So just having a person know you as a label or even as an identity, you know, people fighting for their identity, even too many links to that, link to the brain. So having a person refer to you as that, but without having the exact same definition that you have, which will never happen. Too many contexts, too granular, too granular. Yet, if you still think you're the brain and being slapped on with that label, you'll unconsciously attach to it. And, you know, you can just get rid of that by just getting rid of the label, because you finally understand, or you understand that, okay, it's just an unconscious habit. Let's just be conscious about it. You don't need to slap a label and then take pills that will fuck with you. When you understand that, and even when it comes to attention disorder or hyperactive, you begin to practice a bit more mindfulness. Meditation is a part of it, but first you kind of want to get the brain to understand why you want to meditate, or why meditation is going to get you to that point. And it's basically being aware of all the thoughts that go through. Mindfulness, meditation, you can kind of interchange to a certain degree, but being mindful of what you do and how you react, how you move, and not, again, not in a finger pointing, judgmental, labeling way that unfortunately various cycles of habits are slowly passing on, but it's trickling down, totally trickling down. And upon you being much more conscious and aware, you can just ask yourself those questions with the inner voice and kind of go, okay, is this something I want to do? Is this something how do I refine this? How do I set this up as my advantage? Because again, Hopkins, they put a label autistic, but that can be a terrific advantage when it comes to going from an unconscious method actor to the eighth degree, because he was already a great actor, but unconscious method actor to get certain, you know, shaky mannerism that he learned by visually seeing and studying patients for Hannibal Lecter, that role. Or when it comes to a person that's hyperactive, you can channel that energy into various activity when you understand how to pull it off consciously. And you just have to be a bit more mindful about yourself, record yourself. Feel free to set up a big ass hard drive and record yourself all day and be interested in how you do. And if you spot yourself judging yourself, that's still part of the mind. Wipe that shit off by asking, okay, when did that begin? Why do I have this opinion? Do I really want that? And you know, you do the inner work after. And after that, you kind of set yourself on a path where there's no label. You don't get associated or attached by a label. What's interesting is, I'm not doing a big bash on label. It's just kind of like deconstructing this habit, because earlier on, our brains kind of wanted to keep information simple, keep things simple. So when we're kind of indoctrinated in this aspect of ones or zero, good and bad, this and that, to have labels is an aspect of easier to pick it up with the mind. Oh, what does this mean? Okay, this around this label. Yet developing the habit to both have the label, but always look outside the label. Don't necessarily stay stuck in one single definition. Again, definitions do not really catch up with consciousness, with our discoveries and our exploration. Just like I said, your Twitter post from 2 minutes ago you may have a mood change 5 minutes after. Okay, so 7 minutes, and it's invalid, because in a way you've already changed status, if you understand what I mean, in a rough way. You've already changed state. So when it comes to definitions, we're finding more and more things as we plunge into this aspect of nuances and understanding various cases, and finally understanding, shit, we're 7 billion on this earth. We're all going to have different kind of experiences and different kind of little nuances to our personalities. So instead of having that literal slap on label, very easy and, well, you know, kind of like attempt to generalize yet concretely in a way, you know, this is what it is. No, you kind of go, okay, well, unconscious habit or conscious habit? What do I want? Do I want to make this more conscious? Do I want to use this as my advantage? And then you start the process. So it's a bit of a change. Well, it's a good change because you start seeing that in various other areas of your life, not just personality and such. And you don't get attached to when labels are being slapped onto other people. You don't let the mind kind of go back to the folder whenever you're pointing. Let's say whenever you're pointed at a person and this person is autistic. Well, you won't let the mind go back to default basic folder of just general terminologies and label. You kind of understand, oh, this person may have an unconscious habit here and there. Do they want to fix it? Do they not? That's their own thing. But I've got nothing, I can't judge. I shouldn't even be going back to that folder and saying, okay, well, this is how it is. No, everyone's different. Different nuances, man. Granularities. We are so complex and unique and infinite in our aspect of learning and then growing. So, get rid of those fucking labels.